There we go. And today we have a big plan of finishing Unit 5 and moving on to Unit 6. So hopefully that will work out. Let me tell you what we are going to do today. Today we are going to talk about future intentions in contrast to past intentions that we already studied. We are also going to talk about sleeping habits for a little while. And finally, moving on to Unit 6, we are going to tell crime stories. So yeah, it's a lot of things to do. So let's start right away. Now let me start sharing the book. Just for you to remember where we are in this course. The last class that we had together before Saturday, we were talking about these structures to agree or to show similarity with someone else's experience or likes and dislikes. We practice this a lot, so I'm hoping that it has been useful for you. Remember that these structures are something for you to grow on vocabulary or to understand someone else's ideas. But yeah, there are more basic ways of responding. So yeah, this is a way of showing you that this exists and there is a possibility of using these structures to agree or show similarity. I also showed you some ways of disagreeing, so I'm hoping that that got into your mind. Now let's move on. We're not going to talk about that anymore, and we are going to discuss sleep habits. And on Saturday, I had planned an activity that I wanted to do with all of you, and I said that I will move it to today, but I changed my mind. So we're going to do that activity on Saturday, and today we are going to move on with the content of the book. So today we have to start by trying to get into the vocabulary of the lesson. The lesson is discuss sleep habits. This is too big, so let me make it smaller. That's better. So yeah, discuss sleep habits. The idea here is that you talk about sleeping, how people sleep, where do people sleep more, why do we have problems sleeping, and all those kind of things. And we are also going to listen to a man speaking about this topic, right? So the first thing we have here is a graphic. And it shows us some information about sleeping habits. I would like you to tell me regarding the information that you see in this graphic. What is this graphic talking about? I want to see if you know how to interpret the information in this graphic. So I'm going to write down some questions about it. And if you know the answer, please raise your hand on Zoom so we can actually listen to your answer. I'm going to write the question first so you have some time to think about them and then we can discuss them. So my first question is, what is being compared in the graph? Oops, that's not how you write graph. Right, so that's the first question. Just from looking at the image, what do you see that they are comparing? My next question is, how does it compare it? How does it compare the information? So what is the tool that is using? What is the information that it's using to base the comparison? And another one, how does it organize the results? How does it organize the results? 3 questions, just to understand what we can see in this graphic. Let's think about it. We have here some information. It has nationality and gender. We have some information at the bottom, and then we have the graphs here, the lines. So yeah, try to tell me at least one of these questions, what you think the answer could be. So let's start by Magali. Magali, tells us, what do you want to answer? Which one?
Okay, I look in the form of this graphic. I think this is about the sleep habits of the women's and difference in the different countries.
All right. So that is a question. Oh, sorry, that is the answer for which question?
But it's a general answer for all of the questions in one. It's possible?
Right. Okay. It's not possible. My idea is to be more organized. So yeah. your answer is right, but for one of the questions.
Let me see the questions. What does it compare? What? It is compare the habits to sleep for the women in different countries. And
yeah, it compares. Can you repeat, please? Can you repeat, please?
Habits, the sleeping habits of the habits of the women in different countries.
Just women?
Women.
Just women?
Women or men's too.
Yeah, women and men.
And all men's right. Too.
Yeah, and, very good. Let's try with another person now, Magali. Thank you very much. All right, so yeah, this is correct. It compares the sleeping habits of women and men. Oh, and I forgot to write down something that Magali said, which was in different countries. That's important. Yeah, now we have two more questions. What is being compared in the graph? And how does it organize the results? So who can help me with these questions? Marcelo, tell us.
Hello, Val. Good night. Yeah. The third question.
Yeah.
I think this peak is sorry, I'm a little nervous.
Don't worry, we're listening.
It's a peak who organized by, I don't know how to say, estadísticas.
Statistics is the same, but
Statistics.
Yeah.
Is how this information is organized.
All right, yeah. And
I think it's the tool that for organize that information.
Yeah, that is right. That is the tool. But I was just asking about the information that we see in the graph. And we have this one, and then we have that. So I would say that it organizes the results using intervals of time, for example. What do I mean? We have 9 p.m., 11 p.m., 12 a.m., etc. All right, so I would say that that's the way that it organizes the results. Because as you may know how these kind of surveys are conducted, we have like the things that we are studying, women and men from different countries, and now we have to have like a parameter to organize the results. And the parameter is intervals of time. That's the idea. All right, so now let me change this, but because what's being compared, it's the sleeping habits of different people in different countries. Now we have this one. How does it compare them? Any idea, or is my question too tricky? Cristina, can you help us?
I think the graphic is a timeline, so we can compare different bedtime habits in this timeline.
All right, yeah, very good. I like it. Thank you very much, Cristina. So using a timeline, it's a very good answer. And also, I would say that it divides the information very clearly. So we start by Australian women, Australian men, Canadian women, Canadian men. So it's also comparing them through nationality and gender, using the timeline that Christina just mentioned. All right, so yeah, that's basic skills.
The comparison is
Sorry?
the comparison is yes. I for complement the question two. Using timeline for make a comparison to the time when some women or some men in different countries start to sleep and end to sleep, on how time is what's the period of time in the people sleeps.
Yeah, that's the idea. So that's what we mean by intervals of time. Yeah, so depending on which time the survey started and ended. Yeah, very good. And what was I saying? Let me remember now. All right, yeah. I was trying to tell you that this skill is important because, for example, if you want to read the paper or if you want to read a paper, a study on a specific topic. Also, if you want to read, I don't know, sometimes a news article, they use this graphic information. And especially if you want to communicate what you've read, it is important to know how to interpret the graphic, and then you need to know how to communicate that information. Just one thing that I want you to correct, because I heard some people saying this, let me put this there. And I heard some people saying comparison or something like that. It's not like that. We say comparison in English. The word comparison doesn't exist. So careful with that. I've heard it quite often. It's not correct. Another thing that you need to remember is that the word woman and man do not have a regular plural form, all right? So do not add an S at the end of these words. That's very improper. It's not possible, all right? So the plural form of woman is women. The pronunciation changes. Let me tell you again so you can practice. This is woman, and this is women. It changes completely. And then we have man and men. So one woman, two women, for example. One man, two men. All right, so that's very important also. Don't try to add an S at the end of these words because, yeah, that's not how it works. All right, so yeah, that's a graphic. And now we can see... Oh, yeah, Mari, tell us.
With the word comparison, that means comparación?
Yes.
Or what it means?
It means comparación.
Comparison.
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, no worry, no, it's not a problem. Yeah, Guillermo?
According to the table, in general, in all countries, the women sleep more than men, except in Brazilian.
Except in Brazil. All right. All right. So can you repeat your what you said, Guillermo, please?
According to the table.
Yeah, the graphic?
Women, yes, the graphic. The women sleep more than men, except Brazilian.
Yes.
people.
Except Brazilian women. Yeah, perfect. Very good, Guillermo. You anticipated my next question. So very good. Thank you very much. That's something I was going to ask you, and that's quite correct. So the tendency is that women sleep more than men, sleep for longer hours, except in Brazil, or Brazilian women, as Guillermo said. All right, so yeah, those are the steps to interpret a graphic. So first, you try to understand what the data is, or data if you prefer it. We have the data here, and we have the intervals of time. Then we have the information in timelines or graphics, and then you can begin to do what Guillermo just did, to find out the results of this survey, which is very well conducted. All right, so the results are those. Women tend to sleep longer than men, except in Brazil. All right, very good. So I think that reading a graphic is not so easy as it may seem, and then communicating the results or the information, it's also something that takes some time. So I would say that it requires some kind of skill first to interpret and then to communicate the results. So yeah, that's something that I wanted to practice tonight. We have the results, we have the data, and now we can move on to the vocabulary. We are going to study this vocabulary because then we are going to watch and listen to a video that talks about sleeping habits and also talks about ideas related to this vocabulary. I think this vocabulary is something that we know already. It's not new for us, but we're going to read it anyway. We have the word concentrate, which is very similar to the Spanish word, and it means to think very carefully about something you are doing, like to pay a lot of attention to the task that you are carrying out. Then we have the word depressed, also very similar to the Spanish word, which means very sad or sometimes extremely sad. And then we have the word overweight. This is compounded by two short words. We have weight, and we have the preposition over, which means a little more than should be. So weight in Spanish means peso, and overweight is sobrepeso. It's also very common and very similar to the Spanish word. And overweight means too heavy. Then we have an illness, which refers to a sickness or disease. These three words are synonyms: illness, sickness, and disease. So yeah, now you have three words to refer to the same, or more or less the same feeling in your body. Then we have a risk, which is the chance that something bad might happen. The chance, the risk of something bad happening. Then we have diabetes. Diabetes, we have the same word in Spanish, and diabetes is a medical condition in which you have too much sugar in your blood. Right? Then we have a heart disease. Remember, this is the word disease, which is similar to sickness or illness. And heart, you know, that's the organ that all of us have in our chest. And so a heart disease is an illness affecting the heart. And finally, we have the verb, this is a verb, to rest. And to rest is to have time to relax or sleep. Rest in Spanish, just so you know, means descansar, by the way. All right, so rest, time to relax or sleep. That's a vocabulary. I'm thinking that it's not new for us, but yeah, we still need to give it a look. Then we have these questions that I think that are quite interesting. This time I'm going to ask you to participate in the chat. So, so we can try to go quicker. I wanted you just share single ideas. What do I mean by single ideas? Don't give me like a full sentence. Just single ideas, 1 word, 2 words would be fine. The first question is, what is one thing that can make it difficult to concentrate? What is one thing that can make it difficult to concentrate? Don't sleep enough, could be. For me, it's just noise. If something is noisy, sometimes I find it difficult to concentrate. What else apart from noise? All of us are saying noise. Loud noises. Traffic. Oh, using the cell phone, that's a good one. I hadn't thought of this one. Yeah, the cell phone makes it so difficult to concentrate, especially when you don't want to do something and you get distracted by the phone. Loud music, light, yeah, if the light is too high. My children. Yeah, children also are very distracted. Horns, yeah, good. The TV, multitasking. Crowded places also, yeah. I cannot concentrate in crowded places. I can work in noisy places, like university sometimes is noisy, but crowded, not really. Snoring, yeah. Cell phone, especially the cell phone. All right, good. So those are things that make it difficult to concentrate. Make it difficult is kind of an idiom in English. Make it difficult. What does make it difficult mean? Can anybody help me here?
Te hace.
Te hace.
Difícil.
Sorry, can you repeat, Magali?
Difícil.
Difícil. Any other ideas? Make it difficult.
Hacen difícil.
All right. Yeah, could be. I would say that is dificultar. So, cosas que dificultan la concentración, I would say. Yeah, so make it difficult. They make it be the opposite of easy, also we can say. Yeah, good. Then we have, what should people do if they're feeling depressed? What should people do if they're feeling depressed? That's a difficult question. Maybe eat something nice, sleep. Yeah, I have heard people saying that sleeping is a good thing when you're feeling sad. Fight? What do you mean, Christina? Fight? Eat chocolate?
Discussions, disagreements.
Oh. Oh, but the question is, what should people do if they're depressed?
Oh,
Yes. So you have to make us give us, sorry, some advice about it.
sorry.
Yeah, no worries. Cry, that's also a good idea. Go shopping.
Eat chocolate.
Excuse me.
Eat chocolate. Sorry, Mariana, can you repeat?
I understand that sentence like, ¿qué deberíamos hacer si queremos sentirnos deprimidos?
Oh, no. No.
It's the other side by the answers that I am hearing, I guess.
Yes. What
Because
should
they are
people
not, no hay the negative, not depressed.
Oh, no. The idea is that if you're feeling depressed, what should you do to feel better? Does it
If
make
they
sense?
are feeling a little depressed, a little, that means menos deprimido.
Oh, no.
Poco,
A little means un poco deprimidos.
poco deprimido. O sea, I am trying to understand. It's like a phrase that we have to, or I am understanding that
Yeah,
wrong. I don't know.
Yeah, you're having trouble understanding the question. Should is for advice. So you are giving advice to people who are feeling sad or
Yes.
depressed. Yeah.
If they are, o sea, si ellos están, yeah, okay.
Yes.
Okay, yes, I understand. I understood better. Thank you.
Good.
Sorry.
No, no worries. So what should people do if they're feeling a little depressed? Means, in case any other person is wondering, ¿qué debería hacer la gente o las personas si se sienten o si se están sintiendo un poco deprimidos? Entonces, te estamos pidiendo un consejo. Should. We have, they should eat chocolate, they should go shopping, drink. That's a good one. Listen to music, go to the gym. Yeah, maybe cry. Hug a tree. That's yeah, it's a good idea. Run, like do exercise, listen to loud music, do yoga, hug relatives. All right, yeah. Get help. Yeah, we have many different ones, and they are all interesting. But yeah, we are looking for advice. I told you just to write short answers, but remember that if this was an exam, you should write the verb should also to give the advice. For example, people should drink wine and listen to folk music. Or they should try to distract with some other activities. Yeah. Watch a funny movie, rest, pray, clean the house. All right, so we have many options. Cook. Very good. So it depends on what you like doing. It depends on the person. Then we have another one, which is what's the most important thing people should do if they are overweight? So this is a similar question asking for advice. What's the most important? Now think about the most important thing people should do if they're overweight. Exercise. Be aware of a healthy diet, change habits, working out and diet. Walk, that's a good one. Change eating habits, that's very difficult to do. They should go to the doctor, eat less sugar, that's an important thing. Yeah, eat less sugar. And drink less soda, stuff like that. They should eat healthier. They should try to recognize the problem to take action. Yeah, that's also a very good one. Go to the gym, that's very difficult. They should take a specific nutritional regimen. Drink more water, that's a very important one also. Drink more water and less sugary drinks, very important. All right, and this one, the last one, is a little bit more difficult. What is one thing that can contribute to heart disease or diabetes? According to your experience, to your knowledge. So name only one thing that can contribute to diabetes or heart disease. This is difficult. Stress, yeah, that's a very good one. Sleeping bad. Sugar, specifically. Yeah, less exercise and bad eating habits. Fast food, very good one. Sugar, and not sleeping enough, very good. Yes, so especially sugar, stress, not sleeping well. All right, exaggerate. More exercise, less carbohydrates. Difficult also. Yeah, all right, so you're aware of this vocabulary. That's important for me. With this one, I just wanted to check if we understood these kind of questions first, and then if you had the vocabulary to try to talk about these ones. All right, so I'm guessing that we do have the vocabulary, which is good. And they should eat fewer carbohydrates. That's difficult, but yeah, we should try to do that. Okay, so just a short activity to review vocabulary. And now we can go to the grammar box, which is always what brings us to the discussion point. Let me just make some room here. I have everything a little disorganized on my screen. Okay, so we have the grammar box, and here we are going to talk about plans and intentions for the future. My first question is, do you remember that a few classes ago, I don't remember exactly how many, but maybe 5 or 4 classes ago, we were talking about intentions in the past or past intentions. So with past intentions, we used the past continuous. This is just a review. So for example, I was going to go to the gym, but I changed my mind. Or I was going to start going to the gym, but I changed my mind. All right, so this is a plan that I have in the past, but it didn't come true. Right, so it's my time is over. Now I would have to have another intention to go to the gym, but in the past, it's over. All right, so that is something that we already studied. And I want you to make the comparison between that, that content that we already studied and the content that we are going to study now. So now we are not going to talk about the past, so forget about the past for a little bit. We are going to talk about the future. And this is quite tricky because for intentions about the future, we don't use will, which is usually the particle that we use to talk about the future. For example, I will go to the gym. That is something that I intend to do in the future. All right, but in this case, we are not going to use will. We are going to use some verbs that express the future intention. So let me just write down my example. I will go to the gym in June. This is definitely not true, so don't buy it. I'm not going to the gym, but it's just for the sake of the example. I will go to the gym in June. It's a future intention for me. Why am I showing you this? Because you can always show your future intentions by using will, which is the particle for the future. But you have 3 other options, which are verbs that express the idea of future in themselves. So you don't need will with these verbs because they already tells us that they refer to the future. That's the deal with them. And those verbs are intend, mean, and plan. With these verbs, there is no need to use will. Alrighty? So forget about will with these 3 verbs. Let me write them separately so we remember that they are a different kind of meaning, a different structure. All right, so let's work on the meaning first. What does intend mean?
Intención.
Intentar.
It's not intentar. That's what I was going to say. It's not intentar. It's not. It's similar to what Eduardo said. Eduardo mentioned intención. It's similar. Pretender. It's closer. Pretender, meaning that I intend to go. Tengo la intención de ir al gimnasio en el futuro. Okay. Pretender also. That's closer in meaning. So it's not intentar. Okay. And it's like to have the future intention of going to the gym. Then we have mean. It's not significar. What does it mean? What does mean in this context?
¿Tiene la intención?
Yeah, also tener la intención, pretender. Yeah, thank you very much, Javier. So the meaning is the same. We don't have another meaning in Spanish for mean in this context. So mean usually means significar, and that's it. But in this context, it's tener la intención also. And then plan. This is easy. What does it mean?
Planear.
There you go. Planear. Así en planeo ir al gimnasio un día. Yeah. And this is more like tener la intención. This is like with an S, intención, or with a C. I don't remember. I think it's with an S. With a C?
Like, sí.
Wait and see.
With a C. All right. Sorry, I forgot my Spanish spelling. All right. And mean also tener la intención. All right, now I'm thinking about intención. Okay, yep. So yeah, that's what we are talking about, future intention. We have 3 verbs that do not require will to talk about your future intention. So instead of saying, I will go to the gym in June, I could say, I intend to go to the gym in June, meaning that's my intention for the future. Or I mean to go to the gym in June. Or I plan to go to the gym in June. All right, so this is for you just, 3 more ways of expressing your intentions. Of course, you can always express your intentions with will, and probably it will be easier for you to do it this way. This is just for you to have more vocabulary, to expand your vocabulary. Cristina?
But sorry, the expression about have in mind, we can also use in this case, have in mind.
Can you give me an example, please, if you have one?
Oh, I don't know. I'm kind of silly right now.
All right, yeah, let me try. So I have in mind going to the gym in June. Is that what you mean?
Yeah, exactly.
I have in mind. Yeah, it's possible. Like you have that idea now in your mind, but it's also for the future. It's not like you are going to the gym right now. So yeah,
Exactly.
it works. Yeah, good.
Thank
you. All right. Yeah, as I was saying, this is just for you to have more vocabulary. You can always use will if you think it's easier. Maybe you think like, I don't need these verbs. Probably. It's up to you, it's your decision, but this is for you to know that there are options for you to express your future intentions. Yep, so now we need to practice them. They are not too difficult, but they require some practice so you can have them in your mind when speaking. That's the idea. One thing that I want to mention before we go practice is that you need to use the infinitive form for this. Okay, it is impossible to use the gerund, the ing form. So right after intend, mean, or plan, you need to use the infinitive. What is the infinitive? One verb that starts with to. To go, to get up, to wake up, to dance, etc. Also, another thing, these verbs, intend, mean, and plan, are in the future, sorry, in the present simple. So they must be conjugated in the present simple. That's why we have an S at the end of mean when we talk about he. So when we talk about he, she, or it, you need to add an S at the end of the verb. I plan, but she plans to go to the gym. I intend to get up early, but she intends to get up early. I mean to tell the truth. I mean to tell the truth, but she means to tell the truth. All right, so please don't forget about that. This is a present simple sentence that has a meaning of a future intention. All right, so one thing is grammar, another thing is the meaning. So careful with that. Do we have questions about this? Anything that you'd like me to explain before we practice? Alrighty, then I think we're ready to do some practice. I'm going to share a Jamboard with you, and we are going to have a look at some examples. Instead of having you complete some sentences in your document, I'm going to have you share live examples. It's not such a difficult thing. It may sound difficult though. So let me share the link. Let me change this setting. There you go. This is the link for the Jamboard. I'm going to start sharing my screen. And I would like you to create your examples. You can use intend to, you can use mean to or plan to talk about this image. That makes it a little difficult. So in this first slide, I would like any of you who are present, I know Magali is here, so we have in the first slide, I would like Ricardo, Carmen, Magali, Virginio, and Lyudmila Valiuk. I need to use your surname because we have two Lyudmilas, but in this case, I want Lyudmila to write examples about this image with intent to, mean to, plan to. Let me try and give you an example. So he plans to have a brief cup of coffee before work. I don't know. So this is just an image. You can create your examples as you wish. All right. And I want you to paste your examples in one of them. Also, it would be a good idea to write down your name so I can find out who wrote this. I'm not able to do it. There you go. And that would be nice. What do we have in each slide? We have the name of some people. So in the first one, we have these 5 people. In the next one, we have these other 5 people, and so on and so forth. In each slide, we have different images. So please have a look at the image, find where your name is, and write your examples. Only one, please, per person. And then we can read them. And using one of the verbs, intend to, mean to, or plan to. Yep. Any questions?
Yes, but I can use the slide.
What do you mean?
I can type my slide.
You cannot write your answer?
Yes.
Alrighty. If you want me to paste it for you, you can write it on the chat and I can paste it on the slide. Don't forget to write down your names because then I need to check if you completed the task. If you don't write your names, I don't know who did this. Please try not to move the images. All right, so we have the first one. Oh, yeah.
Sorry, I can't find my name. Sorry.
Did I not write it? That's a possibility.
Oh, it's with Maria.
Is it
Maybe.
Maria?
Maria
Yeah.
Cristina.
Yes.
Maybe. Okay,
That's right.
thank you.
Yeah. Yeah, thank you. It's Cristina. Sorry.
No
Right.
problem.
Yeah, we have one. I plan to visit my friends tomorrow. Remember, this is not about you, so this is about this man in the picture. He plans, not you. He plans to go. Remember, you go, the preposition after go is always to. So
Okay, but my example is in the chat.
Sorry,
Ricardo, tell me.
sorry, can you put the link in the chat, please? The other one?
Yes. Let me send it again. All right. Alrighty, let me get the link again.
Thank you.
No problem.
I'm not on the list also, Javier.
Javier. Did I forget
Uh-huh.
about you, Javier?
Yes, you
Oh my gosh. Can you forgive me for that?
did.
All right.
No problem.
No, thank you. Let's go. Let me choose one for you. Here in number 4, please. Javier. Sorry about it. All right, there is something that I wanted to explain to you about an example that I pasted and I don't know where I left it. Let me paste it again. This one. All right, so remember to add the S at the end of the verb because we are talking about he in this case. We are talking about this man. So he plans to take a taxi after work.
Okay, see, yes.
No?
I forgot.
No, don't worry. Take a taxi after work to go home. He plans to get a taxi after work to go home. He plans to go to work. Yeah. He plans to call his friends. Very good one. He plans to go. And then again, Virginia, we said that we are writing about this person, not about you. And he plans to have a brief cup of coffee. That's mine. All right, let's see another one. She means to eat healthy food and some wine for the dinner. Remember that if you are using the verb eating healthy, and then you are talking about wine, you need another verb between that. So she means to eat healthy food and drink some wine because you cannot eat the wine. She means to improve her sleeping habits. Remember that we are talking about her, not you, so careful with that. She plans to go to sleep early today. Very good one. Very good example. Let's go review some others. After a long day at work, I intend, remember this is not about you, it's about the people in the images. He intends to finish all the activities for this semester. Oh yeah, me too. He plans to buy an iPhone 14 before finishing the year. Also, another thing that you need to remember is that we said that after prepositions like before or after, you need to use ing. So he plans to buy an iPhone before finishing the year. That's better. After, yeah, all right. And he intends to close a deal. That's a good one. He plans to watch the NBA final tomorrow. That's a good one. And he plans to watch TV after working at the office. Also a good one. He intends, don't forget the S at the end of the verb. He intends to go to
Sorry.
No, don't worry. He means to fly the next month to the beach. Sorry. Remember that before next or last, we never use the. So it's better to say he means to fly next month. That's enough. He plans to get up at 6. That's a good one also. He plans to learn how to play tennis next month. Good one. Very good. This is the best slide. No mistakes. And then we have, he plans to save every day in the morning. Save? What does save mean? I don't get it. He intends to get up early every morning. That's better. He plans to change his blue tie. He intends to arrive to work on time. Good one. Oh, now I get it. I think this sentence means shave, not save. Shave means, oh, I don't know how to say it in Spanish, but when usually men try to remove their facial hair.
Afeitar.
Afeitar. Thank you very much. That's a good one. All right, let's see the next one. And we have, he plans to take a shower before cooking. That's a very good one. And he plans to cook at the night for a birthday dinner. He plans to cook at night for a birthday dinner. That's also a very good one. And he plans to cook a chicken for the first time. Cook chicken, not a chicken, for the first time. Yeah, very good one. All right, so as you can see, it's not very difficult to use these verbs intend to, mean to, and plan to. And I guess the most common one is mean to. We always use this in English, it's very common. I mean to talk to you, or I mean to tell her tomorrow. I mean to start working in my project next week. So mean to, it's a very common one. Also plan to, very common. And then the least common one is intend to, which always sounds more formal than the other two. Yeah, that's it. As you can see, this topic is not so difficult. It's something that you just need to include to your vocabulary if you think this is useful and if you like the structures. And I highly recommend it because you are surely going to come across some of these phrases at least once, or at least in your in the movies that you watch, or in the series, etc. There's also a common thing to say, and I want to explain it to you because maybe you'll see it someday, is that we can use the same structure to talk about a past intention. I was meaning to tell you. What does sorry?
I was meaning is past intention, but it's possible to use for past intentions meant.
I meant to tell you that one?
Yes.
I meant to tell you. Yeah, it is possible. Yeah,
Thank you.
but then it's not a past intention. It means just that I had the intention in the past, but it's not the same. It's a little difficult, but yeah, it is possible. I meant to tell you. What was I saying? Yeah, so we can use mean to talk about the future, or also to talk about an intention for the past. So careful with that. Usually things in languages in general are versatile. The same things that you can use for the past could be used in the future, just making a few changes. So yeah, that's important also to keep in mind. Let me just write the difference. This is future intention. I mean to tell her. Right, so in future intention, I mean to tell her means that I'm going to tell her soon, probably tomorrow, like in the future. But I was meaning to tell you means that in the past, I had the intention of doing that. I didn't do it. All right, so that's the difference between these two. The same could happen with plan. So I was planning to start my report, meaning that that was my intention in the past, but I didn't do it. But I was planning to do it. I had the intention of doing it. Or I plan to start my report. So for a past intention, you need the past continuous, and for the future intention, you need the past simple. That's the only thing that's different between these two, and also the meaning. It's not the same meaning. Yeah, Cristina, tell us.
Sorry, but we can have the option of connect two sentences like this, like something in the past. I was planning to do something, but then I changed the plans and I have new intentions now. It's possible?
Yes, it is possible and it is correct. Let me write the example. So I was meaning to tell you about it. Oh, let's talk about another person, to tell her about it, but I couldn't. So I'm planning to tell her tomorrow. That's a very good example. Thank you, Chris. And it's a very good option. Yep. So you are mixing the two intentions. You had the intention in the past, it didn't happen, but you still have the intention now for the future. So both can be connected and they make sense. Yeah, that's the magic of it. Very good. Any other question about this? Alrighty. So,
Valeria,
oh,
is it possible for future intention to say, I don't mean to tell her?
all right. Yeah. Do you want to know if this is correct, or I didn't quite get
Yes,
your...
yes, it's possible. Is it have the same meaning?
Yeah. Yep. All right. So yeah, this is a future intention also. I don't mean to tell her. But this means that you don't have the intention of doing something in the future. But yeah, it still refers to the future. And it's a correct example.
Thank you.
Yes. I don't mean to tell her. And another negative form would be, I plan not to tell her.
Or I never plan to tell her.
I never plan to tell her. Very good one. So you can also make negative sentences with never. That's a very good example. Thank you, Magali. And then there is an exception with plan. We usually don't use don't plan. You could have that. It's not so common. It's more common to say this in this way. I plan not to tell her. I plan not to do it. So this is an exception, by the way. So you can see it. Let me mark the exception so everyone can see it. I plan not to do something. All right. Any other questions or comments? I think we have a question in the chat. Among these verbs, is there any grade of intensity? No, there isn't.
Sorry,
It's just...
sorry.
Oh, sorry?
Sorry, last question.
Yep.
Is possible to change and to say, I mean, not to tell her?
No.
Or how, what is better? How is better to say, I don't mean to tell her, or I mean not to tell her? What is better?
In the case of mean, the best option is I don't mean to tell her. In the case of plan, the best option is I plan not to.
Okay, thank you.
Yep.
In the case of intent.
Intend. I don't intend. So it would be the same as I don't mean. Let me write it here. I don't intend to go to the gym. There you go. We're going to put it right beside it. So in the case of mean and intend, the common way, I don't mean, I don't intend. But the exception is plan. I plan not. Marcelo?
Yes, about mean, there is a John Lennon famous song called Jealous Guy.
All right.
In some part of the lyrics said, I didn't mean to hurt you.
Oh, yes. Alrighty. And do you know what that means? I didn't mean to hurt you.
no quise lastimarte, me imagino.
Yes, very good. Yeah, I didn't mean. Can you repeat the name of the song, please, Marcelo?
Jealous guy.
Jealous guy.
Jealous guy. I'm just a jealous guy.
Ah, yeah, I've heard it. Yeah, now I remember. Yeah, thank you very much.
I really mean to tell her I am sorry. If I remember.
Oh.
Better if you sing, Magali. Right.
Sometimes I sang this song with my guitar. It's not now.
It's a good exercise for practice English, huh?
Yes,
That's right.
For practice in
I sang
English.
in English a lot. Another time.
Yeah, we can have some karaoke sometime.
That's a good idea.
It's a good idea. Yeah. All right. So yeah, I didn't mean to hurt you. Coming back to the example that Marcelo gave us. Yeah, this is a past intention. Like in the past, I didn't want to do this. Right. So yeah, that's a good example. But let me tell you the exception. When you use this this structure in the past, but in negative form, it means that you didn't want to do something, but you did it anyway. So yeah, it's for when you want to apologize for doing something, you usually say like, I didn't mean to do it, but you did it. That's a problem, all right? Whereas when you use it in the affirmative way, then it means that you didn't want to do something and you didn't do it, right? So be careful also with the meaning. All right, more questions or comments or recommendations? Yeah. Okay, so I had a question in the chat and I wrote it so I don't forget. Among those verbs, is there any grade of intensity? Not really. They mean the same, they express the same idea, just that intent sounds a little bit more formal than the rest, but other than that, they are synonyms. So yeah, use them interchangeably if you want. All right, now I think we're ready to move on. This structure, as I said, is not so difficult. It requires for you to take the decision to include them in your vocabulary, but you know that you can always just replace these structures by will, and that's quite enough. It's not a problem. Now, I want to go back to the book. And there is something that I want to discuss about sleeping habits. We are going to watch a video about sleeping habits. And we are going to focus in the first part. So I'm going to cover the rest so it doesn't distract us. And we are going to focus just on this question. We are going to watch a video, as I said already. The video is about sleeping habits, as you may know. We are going to talk about that. And the first question that you need to think about when we listen to the person talking in the video is, what is the main purpose of the talk? So now you think about it. What is the main purpose of this person when he's talking about these sleeping habits? We have three options. We are going to read them so you know them beforehand. The first option is to explain why people don't get enough sleep. B is to recommend ways to get a better night's sleep. Or C, to describe the benefits of sleeping for 8 hours a night. Okay, so now you need to pay attention and discover which of this is the main purpose of the talk. Now, let me make sure that I'm sharing my sound. I am. And yeah, here we go.
Getting a good...
Please, if there's any problem with the audio, if you cannot hear, let me know in the chat. Otherwise, let's just watch.
Getting a good night's sleep. Do you find yourself dozing off in the afternoon when you should be working? Do you keep hitting the snooze button when your alarm rings in the morning? If your answers are yes and yes, chances are you don't sleep enough. Maybe you intend to go to bed early, but end up watching TV until late. Or you mean to get up at 7, but instead you wake up at 6 and start worrying about how tired you'll soon be. Lack of sleep is a big problem nowadays and can be much worse than just falling asleep at work. People who don't sleep enough have trouble concentrating. They're also more likely to get colds or the flu, more likely to get depressed, and to be overweight. They may take longer to recover from illnesses and have higher risks of diabetes and heart disease. Believe me, not sleeping enough is a problem you need to fix. But how, you ask? Listen closely. I'll share 7 ways you can get a better night's sleep. First, no electronics. Turn off your TV, your computer, and your phone. Your body is programmed to sleep in darkness, and light, especially the blue light on many electronics, disturbs your rest, even if you're not looking directly at it. Of course, actually looking at your devices, for example, checking the time or checking your messages when you should be sleeping, is even worse. Second, avoid naps. Instead, take a short walk, drink a big glass of water, or call a friend. If you have to nap, do it early in the day and for no longer than 20 minutes. Napping later or for too long impacts your sleep at bedtime. Third, get comfortable in bed. Buy a good pillow that supports your neck, not too thin or too thick. And don't sleep on your stomach. It twists your neck. If you have back pain, try a pillow under your knees or between your legs. It helps keep your back straight. Fourth, about an hour before bed, relax your mind and your body. Keep the lights low, listen to relaxing music, take a warm bath, or read something calming. Put aside your problems and worries before even going into your bedroom. Fifth, watch what you eat and drink. Avoid heavy meals before bed. A full stomach can keep you awake. Coffee in the morning is fine, but not in the afternoon or evening. Sixth, exercise. You know exercise is good for you in so many different ways. Now you can add a better night's sleep to the list. However, the extra energy you can get from working out can keep you awake if you exercise too close to bedtime. Work out in the morning or at least 3 hours before bed. Finally, the 7th point may be the hardest one. Keep a regular schedule. Plan to wake up and go to bed around the same time every day. When your body gets used to the schedule, falling asleep will come naturally. So there you have it. 7 ways to get a better night's sleep. If you're not getting enough sleep, start following this advice immediately. You'll be healthier and happier, your mind will be clearer, and you won't fall asleep at work.
All right. So apparently, having good habits when it comes to sleeping, it's quite hard. You have to try many things. So then by the end of the class, we'll discuss about our sleeping habits. Now, we have to discuss the main purpose of this talk. So I'm going to share with you my poll. You know that I'm a fan of polls. So we can share our answers and check. After having watched, what do you think is the main purpose of the of the talk? Let's wait for some time so we can give everybody the chance to participate. All right, I think we have a winner already. Let me end it and we'll share it. Right, we have a winner already, and it's B, to recommend ways to get a better night's sleep. It's not actually explaining why people don't get enough sleep. It mentions it. So you can follow his advice and understand why sometimes people don't get enough sleep. But that's not the main purpose. To describe the benefits of sleeping 8 hours a night, not really. That's definitely not the main purpose. So the main purpose is to recommend ways. And he gave 6 or 7 ways? 7 ways to get a better night's sleep. And this is a phrase that I want you to pay attention to, a night's sleep. So it's a possessive. That's how you express the idea of sleeping the whole night, a night's sleep, the whole night. All right, so yeah, that's it. B, it's the correct one. He was trying to give us some advice, which is hard to follow, but it's necessary to follow it. Now, let's move on. And we have some other advice. Let me stop sharing this and close it. The first thing that we are going to do is to read the listening skill, because there are some things that are interesting for you to know. It says that sometimes speakers use comparisons without saying exactly what they are comparing. The listener needs to understand what is being compared from the context. For example, people who don't sleep enough are more likely to get colds. Understood? They are more likely to get colds than people who don't sleep enough. All right, so we don't have the second part of the comparison in this kind of sentences because it's understood from the context. He doesn't need to mention that people who don't sleep enough hours get more colds than people who don't sleep enough hours. It's understood from the context. So the comparison here, it's kind of obvious. That's why they don't mention them. So yeah, this is something that you need to quite be aware when you're listening to something or when you're reading to something, or even when you're writing something. Now we are going to practice this, right? So just from what we heard, and now we have the example. Let me mark the example again. Maybe it'll be useful. Sometimes we make comparisons, but we don't mention the other part of the comparison because it's understood in the context. That's what I was talking about. Now we are going to complete this one, and it says that we need to complete the blanks, fill in the blanks. And then we need to find out what's the comparison this person is making in his talk. We're going to listen again, of course, because probably we don't remember. We don't have all the words in memory. So let's work on this. Try to pay attention now to the comparisons he makes. Let's go.
Getting a good night's sleep. Do you find yourself dozing off in the afternoon when you should be working? Do you keep hitting the snooze button when your alarm rings in the morning? If your answers are yes and yes, chances are you don't sleep enough. Maybe you intend to go to bed early, but end up watching TV until late. Or you mean to get up at 7, but instead you wake up at 6 and start worrying about how tired you'll soon be. Lack of sleep is a big problem nowadays and can be much worse than just falling asleep at work. People who don't sleep enough have trouble concentrating. They're also more likely to get colds or the flu, more likely to get depressed, and to be overweight. They may take longer to recover from illnesses and have higher risks of diabetes and heart disease. Believe.
Okay. Did we hear the first one? Did anybody hear it?
Longer.
Yes.
Longer.
Longer.
There
They
you go.
may
Longer and higher.
take longer to recover from
higher.
illness than have.
Yes, all right. So yeah, the first one is longer. they may take longer to recover from illnesses and have, as I
More.
heard somewhere, higher,
Higher.
Higher.
right?
Higher
So,
risk.
in this case, we have the comparison, but we don't have to make the full comparison. When you started comparison, maybe in some other course, you know that when you're making a comparison, you say something before and then you have done, and after that you have another thing. So for example, if I was comparing myself to my sister, I would say that my sister is taller than me, all right? If I said my sister is taller, it's kind of weird. What am I comparing? I have no context. So without context, it's impossible to make a comparison. My sister is taller than me. But sometimes the context gives you this second part, so it's understood. You don't need to say it, right? In this case, we have the option of longer and higher. Longer to recover from illnesses than people who don't take care of their sleeping habits. All right, so in this case, not necessary to mention that because it sounds repetitious. And also that's important when you are speaking, you don't want to sound repetitious because it's also weird to sound repetitious. So careful with that. Now let's listen to the second part. Pay attention.
Not sleeping enough is a problem you need to fix. But how, you ask? Listen closely. I'll share 7 ways you can get a better night's sleep. First, no electronics. Turn off your TV, your computer, and your phone. Your body is programmed to sleep in darkness, and light, especially the blue light on many electronics, disturbs your rest, even if you're not looking directly at it. Of course, actually looking at your devices, for example, checking the time or checking your messages when you should be sleeping is even worse. Second, avoid naps. Instead, take a short walk, drink a big glass of water, or call a friend. If you have to nap, do it early in the day and for no longer than 20 minutes. Napping later or for too long impacts your sleep at bedtime. Third, get comfortable in bed. Buy a good pillow that supports your neck, not too thin or too thick. And don't sleep on your stomach, it twists your neck. If you have back pain, try a pillow under your knees or between your legs. It helps keep your back straight. Fourth, about an hour before bed, relax your mind and your body. Keep the lights low, listen to relaxing music, take a warm bath, or read something calming. Put aside your problems and worries before even going into your bedroom. Fifth, watch what you eat and drink. Avoid heavy meals before bed. A full stomach can keep you awake. Coffee in the morning is fine, but not in the afternoon or evening. Sixth, exercise. You know exercise is good for you in so many different ways. Now you can add a better night's sleep to the list. However, the extra energy you can get from working out can keep you awake if you exercise too close to bedtime. Work out in the morning or at least 3 hours before bed. Finally, the 7th point may be the hardest one. Keep a regular schedule. Plan to wake up and go to bed around the same time every day. When your body gets used to the schedule, falling asleep will come naturally. So there you have it. 7 ways to get a better night's sleep. If you're not getting enough sleep, start following this advice immediately. You'll be healthier and happier, your mind will be clearer, and you won't fall asleep at work.
All right, what do we have? Start following this advice immediately, you'll be
Healthier.
Healthier and
happier.
And happier. Very good. And your mind will be
clear.
Clear. Just clear?
Clearly.
Clearly. Clearer.
Clearer. Yes.
Clearer.
Remember that we are practicing comparatives, right? So your mind will be clearer. You have to pronounce the last syllable, clearer. That's the way of making comparative with the word clear. We don't tend to say more clear. Sometimes it is possible, but it is also very common to say clearer instead of just more clear. All right, so what was the intention with this activity is that you remember that when making comparisons, you always need two things. That's obvious. You cannot make a comparison without two things, two features. But sometimes it is possible not to mention the second part because it is understood in the context. And that's important. And it's important to consider it. It is important to try to start differentiating when you need to use the second part of your comparatives and when it won't be necessary because it's understood. Right? That was the idea. Another thing that we try to do by watching this video twice is that in the first time you were reading the captions. You could read the subtitles if you wish. In the second time, I didn't share the captions because I wanted to mention that this is a very good exercise for you to practice your listening skills, to upgrade your vocabulary, and you need to start doing this if you want to improve in those areas. You have a book. The book brings you texts. It also brings you this kind of short talks. So use your book whenever you have free time. Try to complete these exercises. We don't always have the time to do them in class. Our course is too short, but you have the material, so use it wisely. You have the videos, you have the readings. Practice your listening with this material because it is focused in the things that you are practicing in class. So it is a very good recommendation that you can follow. And it is also a very good idea whenever you are trying to practice your listening skills. It's a very good idea to listen once without reading, just concentrated in listening, and then try to listen and read. So you can check your understanding. You can also see how words are written. So it's very useful. It takes time. It takes patience. You have to do it twice. Sometimes you may think, this is too boring, but I swear it is useful. So it is necessary to practice like this. Maybe if you think 3 minutes is too much, I cannot concentrate for 3 minutes, try to find a shorter video, but find something, because practicing your listening skills and reading skills, it's a must. It's very necessary. All right, so yeah, that's the advice regarding this part of the activity. Now, we're not going to watch again. It's been enough, but we are going to answer these questions. The first question is, what effects of not getting enough sleep does the speaker mention? As we did recently, we are going to launch a poll, and I want you to share your answers with me. So, what effects of not getting enough sleep does the speaker mention? We have A, trouble concentrating, B, getting injured, C, getting sick, or D, getting depressed. What does he mention? Right, we have some answers already. Let's give it some more time.
Valeria, what's mean nap? A nap.
Yeah. Take a nap means siesta.
Oh.
Yep, that's a good one. Let me write it so people can see it. Take a nap. So nap means siesta, and take a nap, tomar una siesta. All right, let's end it. Let me share the results. I think it's a little bit of all of them. So does he mention trouble concentrating? Yeah. Getting injured? I don't think so. You cannot get injured by not sleeping enough. Getting sick? Probably. It can have some effects on your health. And getting depressed, he definitely mentions that. You can get depressed for not sleeping enough. Good. So I think it's a combination of all of them. And now let's talk about the next question. So the next question is, what does the speaker recommend instead of taking a nap? What does he recommend? Now let me share the poll so you can give me your answers. What does he recommend? I think in this case, it's also a combination of both, but I want you to choose the one that you think that, yeah, this is the most important one. So what do you have to do instead of taking a nap, instead of sleeping during the day? All of them. Yeah, I kind of agree. So all of them could be possible. Yeah, it could be possible to think all of them that are true. But probably if you read a book, and if you're sleepy and you read a book, maybe that's not a good idea. You will fall asleep. Maybe taking a walk is better. Drinking water, yeah, if you feel so tired, maybe drinking water is helpful. Calling a friend, definitely, so you can spend your time talking with them instead of sleeping. Yep, and I would say that maybe all of them except for reading a book, because yeah, it's that you have the chance of sleeping instead of being interested in the book. Finally, which things does the speaker say you should not do before bed? Also, there could be a combination of all of them, but choose the ones that you think are more important.
The question disappears, Val.
Oh, it disappears. Let me end it and relaunch it. All right. I think now it's better. So choose the one that you think it's more important. Okay, I think we have a winner already. And let me then share it. And I agree with you this time. The one that is almost never recommended is eating a big meal before going to bed. So yeah, I'm hoping that nobody in this class does that, because yeah, that's really not big for our health overall, not just for not sleeping well. Also, exercising too close to your bedtime, or taking a bath. No, taking a bath is a good thing. Be drinking water, it's also a good thing, but eating a big meal, never a good idea. All right, and finally, before we go, I know that we only have a few minutes, but we are just going to have a look at the vocabulary here. In the video, this person used some vocabulary that may be worth having a look at. So, dozing off. Then we have lack and twists. And the first question that he asks is, do you find yourself dozing off in the afternoon when you should be working? So what does dozing off mean in this context? Does anybody have any idea about it?
It's similar to take a nap.
All right, yeah. It's similar to take a nap. And as Cristina says, dormitando. You know, when you have your alarm on your phone, sometimes instead of turning it off, you doze it off. So you doze it, and then it wakes up in 10 minutes or in 5 minutes. So yeah, It's dormitando, like to send to sleep, but for short periods, doze off. Then we have the verb lack of sleep. What is lack?
Falta de.
Falta de, yeah, falta de o carencia de algo. Lack of sleep, la falta de sueño. And finally, we have the verb twist. What does twist mean? Torcer.
Torcer.
Yeah. There you go. Yeah. So this vocabulary is very useful, especially lack of. Whenever you think that you don't have enough of something, you lack of something, right? This expression is very common. All right. So with this, we have covered all of Unit 5, and we're ready for the exam. Now I'm joking. We are not going to have an exam just this week. I'm going to let you know when we are going to have our last exam, and then how we are going to prepare for the final exam. But not this week, so don't worry. This week we are going to move on to the next unit, which is Unit 6. In Unit 6, we are going to practice what we've already been practicing, which is verb tenses. So please, oh please, try not to miss the next classes, because yeah, we are heading the final weeks of the course, and it would be a very nice thing for you to be able to cover all of the context that we'll be studying, and also to be preparing for your final exam, which I'm going to tell you about next week. So please try not to miss the classes. And yeah, I'll see you on Thursday again. Thank you very much for coming. And don't forget to practice your English. I'll see you. As always, if you have extra questions, stay with me. Otherwise, you may leave.
Thank you,
Thanks, Val.
Good night.